Welcome back to another We Ourselves video. Because of the ongoing writer's strike in Hollywood, Marvel Studios announced a slate of delayed movies and TV projects. Among the number of delayed shows is the Echo show. And I'm sure many of us are saddened to hear that we'll have to wait for the Echo Disney Plus show. But seriously, this recent update on the Echo show is timely because I've always wanted to talk about the unequal representation of the black females in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And to that end, I want to look at the show Empower and what it signifies. Disney released this limited series entitled Empire, highlighting the MCU's powerful women. But just like the subpar representation of black males in the MCU, the black females also suffer the same inadequate representation. And in this video, I want to talk about that particular subject. The Empower trailer highlighted all the women of the MCU, particularly the women they would showcase in the first season. Episode 1 is entitled The Women of Wakanda. Episode 2 was about Captain Marvel or Carol Danvers. Episode 3 focuses on Elizabeth Olsen's Wanda Maximoff, aka the Scarlet Witch. And episode 4 is about Gamora from the Guardians of the Galaxy series. I wanted to mention Echo in this connection because even though they haven't yet done an Empower episode on the Echo character, from the moment she appeared in Hawkeye, Marvel has announced a show for that character. Likewise, Ms. Marvel, Kamala Khan, was introduced in her own series. And then you have Wanda Maximoff, whom we first met in the films, where we learned much of her backstory. Still, WandaVision, the first Disney Plus Marvel live-action TV show, delved even deeper into her background. Scarlett Johansson's Black Widow movie came along long after Marvel should have produced the film. Even so, we learned her backstory through her appearances in various Marvel movies. All of that led up to her actual film. We even watched her lead the Avengers in Avengers Endgame and saw Hawkeye's response to her death. So overall, there was a lot of attention placed on Black Widow even before her movie came out. Then of course you have Captain Marvel, who again was introduced in her own movie and has appeared in other films. So we get an entire background for who she is as a character and what makes her tick. Some of you may bring up Gamora, played by Zoe Saldana. Yes, she has a tragic relationship with her father, Thanos, and a love-hate relationship with her sister, Nebula. However, after Gamora died in Avengers Infinity War, writers replaced her with another Gamora who had not experienced any of those life moments. In other words, they reset the character, as we saw in the final Guardians of the Galaxy movie. But of all the women that Marvel wanted to highlight, only the black women did not receive comparable character development. Like the black men of the MCU, the black women have also received subpar representation, in my opinion. The first episode of the Empower series focuses on the women of Wakanda rather than individual episodes for Shuri, the new Black Panther, Nakia, or even Okoye. The closest we come is with Shuri in the Wakanda Forever movie. But as I said in a previous video, so much of her characterization in her time in the movie dealt with losing her brother and then the Queen Mother. And of course, the Wakanda TV show, which was going to expand on Wakanda and most likely focus on the women of that fictional nation, has yet to happen. At this point, it may never happen. Even producer Nate Moore has gone back and forth on the matter. And you have to ask yourself, why? And now I want to turn to Monica Rambeau, who first appeared as a Captain Marvel fangirl in 2018. Tiana Paris portrayed the adult Captain Rambeau in the WandaVision Disney Plus TV show. Now she's set to appear in The Marvels as one of 3 main characters. My question is, where is her show? Are we going to finally discover who she is and what makes her tick, like we did with Carol Danvers? Will Captain Rambeau get a Disney Plus series like Ms. Marvel, or a dedicated movie of her own like Captain Marvel? Personally, I would love to see a Disney Plus show with her and Agent Woo in a buddy cop type of, situation. They had good chemistry in WandaVision, And they also had good chemistry with the character Darcy Lewis, who, by the way, could be their guy in the chair. It's a perfect vehicle for Captain Rambeau to get her complete character treatment, just like all these other powerful female characters. But let's get to the point. When the same thing consistently happens within the Marvel process, the word we're looking for is systemic. The subpar representation of MCU black characters, both male and female, has reached a systemic level. In other words, it's baked into the very DNA of the Marvel process. And there's no excuse for it in this day and age, particularly when you want to highlight your achievements with a series like Empower. Let's break it down a little. One technique Marvel consistently employs to deepen the female characterizations is to show their relationship to their family and, in particular, their fathers. It's a pattern, so to speak, used for all the female characters except, and you guessed it, the black female characters. Again, you have Gamora, played by Zoe Saldana, but even there, she managed to have a relationship with her dad, Thanos. And the less said about the She-Hulk series, the better. But even there, with the showrunner bragging that she had no experience with the material, comic book canon, or procedural law shows, they still managed to give Jen Walters a family and show her interaction with her dad. Even critics of the show had decent things to say about Mark Lynn Baker, who portrayed Jen's father. But we see no fathers and little family dynamics when it comes to the black female characters. Now, I know some comic book fans have said that Monica Rambeau's dad is alive and well on the comic pages. And in the WandaVision series, we're shown the moment Captain Rambeau returns from the blip. The scene is awesome in my opinion because MCU fans got their first look at what happened to the ones who vanished for 5 years. What I don't understand is why they didn't let the character breathe a little. What do I mean by that? Okay, sure, Monica's mom was gone, but what about her dad? Wouldn't it be logical for her to reach out to other relatives? You could have easily have had Monica contact him. We could have seen them talk about Maria Rambeau and her importance and everything she did while Monica was gone. You can even have Dad give his daughter the little dad wisdom that helps her to regroup and march into S.W.O.R.D. to face Haywood. You know, these types of scenes. Why Marvel has failed to even acknowledge Captain Rambeau has a father is a mystery. Well, it isn't really a mystery. Marvel, like so many other corporations today, wants to pat itself on the back for its diverse representation. And to be strictly objective, yes, Marvel has a wonderfully diverse group of powerful female characters and actresses. I won't argue with that. But when you go on a case-by-case basis and you compare the actual on-screen representation of the characters, particularly when it comes to the black females, their representation is subpar to the white actresses and even other actresses and personalities of color. Even when you come to movies that show fathers in an unsupportive environment for the young girls, in the case of Captain Marvel, her dad was a one-note, unsupportive father, and in the case of Shang-Chi's sister, Xialing, her father was very chauvinistic and wouldn't even let her do the formalized training. Yet in both films, they show how that early childhood helped them become the strong women that they would be later. In the case of Carol Danvers, you have that iconic stand-up moment as she assumes her full power as Captain Marvel. And then with Xialing, she actually takes over her father's organization, the 10 Rings. Again, character development, which is why I thought this quote from Michelle Yeoh, who was in Shang-Chi, is very informative. None of the black females have a show or movie. Again, you may argue that Black Panther Wakanda Forever is dedicated to the Wakandan women, and you would be right. However, none of these women received the same treatment in the film as Captain Marvel or Black Widow in their movies. The problem is systemic. is not individual mistakes or oversights. Marvel needs to do better. I personally hope they scrap their entire process and start over with a system that doesn't produce a subpar representation of their black characters. No matter how you look at it, the NAACP report was unequivocal. As long as African Americans don't occupy the highest levels of power in Hollywood, the positions where they can say yes or no regarding black representation, until that day happens, we will continue with the subpar character stories. Well, that's what I think on the matter. And again, I wanted to talk about this for a while because I've already done a video talking about the black MCU males. Let me know what you think in the comments, and I'll see you later.